Hi guys, have you ever been in a conversation with somebody and they're talking to you about something that they act like you're supposed to know what they're talking about, but you actually don't know, and so you're waiting for like context clues to help you understand what they're talking about? Well, I think that this is something that goes on in common conversation when it comes to nutrition and nutritional literacy in this country. So I'm going to hopefully simplify some things for you guys today. If you're new to following me, my name is Megan and I am Flux Nourishment on Instagram and Facebook, and I am about helping families, active families, simplify wellness. So today we are going to talk about the difference between plant-based and a vegan diet. So initially, if you haven't been following me for very long, you may know that I mostly cook only vegetables or stick to mostly a plant-based diet. So this diet or veganism resonated with me because of the boundaries. That was why I was initially drawn to it. I needed boundaries. I was in a place in my life where I was needing healing, and it just resonated with me. Everything I heard about it, everything that I researched about it, it just connected with me. And I think some of it had to do with just where I had been, and it was just so crazy the way that I ate, and so I needed something that was very consistent and very predictable. So that's why I initially was drawn to veganism. Then as I kind of grew just in how I felt about things, I realized that really more I needed to subscribe to what would be coined a plant-based diet. And I actually think the reason this term, just from my own perspective, why people coined this phrase, was because of the negative connotation associated with veganism. So I tell my clients, and I tell my husband, and I tell people that I spend time with, that boundaries are good when it comes to food, but fundamentalism is not. Because you get into a hole, you get into a place where you are at a party or you are in a social situation and you don't have anything to eat. And so then you fall into sort of this, for lack of a better word, you turn into a breatharian, where you really are only eating when it's convenient, when you have the opportunity. And because that I teach or I coach from a holistic perspective, and that I believe that your primary food is really relationships and what's going on in your life, and that your secondary food is only secondary, and that if you don't have those two things coming together, then you're just a miserable person. And so that's why I started being just more flexible in my perspective, and that's the reason I coach the way I coach. So I'm going to kind of go through what the differences are. So there's stacks upon stacks of research. I just want to clarify this, that say that a vegan diet is very beneficial for a lot of people, and that it's very effective at healing and preventing a host of diseases. So I want to say that caveat, because there is no question about it that having a very plant-rich diet is beneficial to your body. However, by definition, a vegan diet is something that is a person that cannot eat dairy, they cannot eat meat, they cannot eat honey, eggs. So there's a whole list of things. So it eliminates a lot of things out of your diet. But when you are also following that definition, there are things that you can eat that you would be very surprised. Pop-Tarts are vegan, Oreos are vegan. There are so many frozen products, food products that are vegan, but they're packed full of ingredients that are detrimental. They're toxic to our body. Pop-Tarts, there are things in Pop-Tarts that I cringe about feeding my children, because it actually is toxic to our bodies. So all of that's not my jam. Not eating packaged foods, to me, I would much rather slant towards eating plant-based or eating eggs for breakfast over something that is actually toxic for my body. So what I encourage my clients and encourage my friends is to kind of take a plant slant. So this is a term coined by Dan Buettner of the Blue Zone Solutions. This just means that your plate is going to have a slant towards plants. That does not mean that your plate needs to be empty of anything animal product to be healthy. But I want to encourage my clients to be eating lots and lots of vegetables and fruits and grains and things that are coming from the earth. So that is what a plant-based diet is. When I'm referring to a plant-based diet, that's what it means. When I'm talking about a plantiful plate, it means that your plate is full of fruits and vegetables. It does not mean that it has to be void of all animal products. It does not have to be a vegan plate. And with my clients, I totally and completely believe, and I have experienced, that people are individuals and bio-individuals, and they absolutely cannot always subscribe to a vegan diet. It just doesn't work for everybody. So the last thing I wanted to say, oh man, these live videos are really hard because I really lose my train of thought. The last thing I wanted to say. So quality, quantity, and frequency are the things that I want you guys to remember when you are choosing meat products. So quality, quantity, and frequency. That's the 3 things that you want to think about. And that goes with eggs, that goes with meat, so anything that's cheese, dairy. So if you're choosing the very best quality, then you're getting the most nutrition. If it's coming from, we have a wonderful farmer that comes to our farmer's market, and he has eggs that his chickens are eating vegetables straight off the ground. So he's feeding them cucumbers and carrots, and his eggs are actually rainbow colored when you buy them. And then he also has meat that he is actually raising the animals. He knows what they're eating. He knows the kind of life that they're living. And so we know that that's quality meat and quality eggs. The same goes with dairy. If it is from a farmer that you know that you have a relationship with, it's much better to choose a quality cheese over something that is a big name brand thing that you're going to find in the grocery store like Kraft. So you just always want to choose quality, quantity, and then consider how frequently that you're eating the animal products. Because everything points to that if we're eating more vegetable, there's no debate on this. This is the one topic that we can all agree on when it comes to nutrition. That if we can all eat more vegetables and we can have this plant slant, then we are just going to be healthier individuals. So if you guys don't have any questions, then I'm going to sign off. And I'm still trying to figure out how I actually see the questions. I think it just pops up. But all right, thank you guys for following, and I will hopefully see your comments later.